Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Are You Not Entertained? Well, I think we're all buzzing. We're all in a bloody good mood. I mean, we're a little bit late to the party, mainly because of Peter. He's a very busy man. Me and Ollie are always free and absolutely and always happy to record, but we've had to wait on Pete with his responsibilities. And I think we'll just go straight into it. I'll ask you both. I mean, I've got my two amigos with me, my blood, my kin. I've got Ollie over there. Ollie, how did you enjoy it? Well, don't mention too much, but how happy are you after that result in particular?
Assuming you're talking about the Man United result, yes, very, very excited. Yeah, it was one of those. I was just about to sit down with my parents for some food for dinner, which was late. Cheers for that, Mum. So literally, I thought I watched the first couple of minutes, and we gave away a penalty in 25 seconds, and I was like, brilliant, I'll go have my dinner. And then while serving up dinner, I looked back and it was 2-1. And it was just mental. And then it just went on from there. And I managed to sort of have it on in the background and just kept poking my head around the corner. But yeah, what a result and what a performance, really.
And my brother, my busy brother, Peter.
Yes.
How are you? How have you been after an absolute slapping of United?
It was a slapping as well. I am very busy, but I wasn't too busy to watch the full game, Oliver. But yeah, man, I mean, I saw on Twitter loads of people doing, before the game, penalty bingo. When will Man United get their guaranteed penalty? And I didn't see anyone put 25 seconds or whatever it was. However, it was a penalty. So we can't really argue about that. It was stupid and clumsy and it was a pen. But yeah, I could talk for quite a while, to be fair, on Man United, aside from Spurs, and how mental their whole thing is at the minute, and how they just seem to have no direction whatsoever. They have no plan or anything of like, their front three is a dangerous front three in Martial, Rashford and Greenwood, and they've gone, well, what we need Ederson Cavani to liven up that front three. But we don't need anything at the back. And actually, the position that I would say they are most covered in is probably left back, because I think Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams will do you fine for a Premier League season. Some people say they're not good enough, but in terms of the rest of your back four, your left back's probably your best position. So why have you gone out and signed a left back from Porto when your centre halves are diabolical, and properly diabolical as well? But who cares? Because we
be careful, Pete. You might start to sound a bit like Sky Sports, mate, if you just talk about Man United.
Yeah, if I just talk about, should we turn it into a Man United podcast?
That's it.
I think that's part of the good thing. I mean, we were moaning about it with the bias on media and the way Sky Sports go about it. I mean, we were saying they didn't even interview our manager. Just one big mental. They didn't get to speak. Of course, we spoke to Ollie and one of their players, and I think, was it Kane or one of the boys got to have an interview, but they didn't even speak to us. It was all just negative towards United. But I will carry that on slightly. But the good thing about what we do is that we can then digest and praise our players and actually give us the credit we deserve, which you won't see, I think, in the mainstream media for the most part, about trying to sound like a bitter old man. I think that's the case. But you just said, Pete, like how Luke Shaw, the left back, was one of their better defenders. I mean, let's be honest, he was absolutely gobshite on the day. Should have got sent off. If we sort of like go for it a bit like from the beginning, I mean, as you say, it was a penalty, no complaints. Sanchez a bit clumsy. To be fair to him, after that he reacted well, but yeah, that was crap. And he was fearing the worst. He was thinking, "Oh, we're going to get rolled over here." And then showed great mentality, which was just so exciting to see. We'll go into Lamella's a little bit as well. I think it's a bit controversial and divides opinion. We'll speak about the send off in a sec. I mean, like with the two goals we quickly grabbed, Maguire, I mean, you'd think Maguire would have got better at defending after having to organise his own defence on his holiday. So you'd have thought he'd be a bit better at trying to sort himself out, because the man had no defence and he should have been going to prison if he had defence. Thankfully, his lawyer knew what he was doing. Should have got the lawyer out there. He'd have marked Kane a little bit better. But the first goal was absolutely hilarious. He nodded it into Bailly's head. It bounced off of Bailly. And then he nodded. Maguire has the ball like 3 times, pulls Luke Shaw over, should have given us a penalty for pulling down one of his own men. And then and Lamella works on, we get the goal. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely.
It cracked me up with the pull, because he pulls Luke Shaw out the way and Luke Shaw like stumbles past him, and then the goal goes in and he turns to the ref like, hey, like, what are you appealing for? There's literally nothing for you to appeal for. Nuts, man.
I'm glad you mentioned Lamela there, Jez and Pete, because I think he was almost instrumental in making Luke Shaw look bad. What he did was so clever. Like he just kept because I saw a couple of screenshots from the game, and all you see is Luke Shaw almost between Maguire and was it Eric Bailly, and he pulls him. So, and Aurier's got so much time, and I think that's where the third or fourth goal came from. Just the Miller just pulled him all over. And Mora did the same thing. So it's obviously a tactical thing. I mean, obviously we know that Mourinho had Shaw under him in very like infamous sort of press conference where he slated him, didn't he, saying that he was playing left back basically, and that Luke Shaw was running around, but Mourinho was telling him what to do. So it's quite clear that Mourinho knew what to do basically, and just destroyed Luke Shaw. But yeah, hats off to Lamela. I mean, first goal, he's instrumental. He's instrumental in moving everything around. He's instrumental in the red card. Which
well, let's talk about the red card. What did you make of it?
I kind of half watched it, didn't I? But I looked up, saw a red card, saw Lamela on the floor, and was like, "Oh, what's he done?" And then saw the replay, and was like, "Oh, Lamela, that's not good, is it?" And it was very much like left of the law. It's a red card because he's gone to hit him in the face, isn't he? But Lamela's sort of what's the word for it? Made it very obvious that he's been fouled. He sort of gets the tap and then drops like in 3 stages, which is quite funny. But
do you think Lamela
can't hit someone in the face?
Ollie, do you think Lamela should have got a red card as well?
It's difficult with Lamela's because he sort of gets him chesting up, whereas Luke, who was it? Martial's just straight face, isn't it? So it's debatable. If I was a United fan, I'd probably say you either send them both off or they both get yellow. I think it was harsh to split them as he did.
Pete, what did you make of the whole incident?
When the red card first got lifted, because it was so like the view was from behind, and it just saw him walking towards the crowd of players with a red card, I was like, just the proper me being pessimistic, is one of our players has done something stupid. What idiot has done something stupid, got him sent off in the penalty area? And then, as you say, obviously it's Martial. Man United fan that I work with tried to tell me that it was the wrong way around and Lamela should have been sent off for throwing an elbow, and then Martial should have been a yellow card. And I was like, no, you're stupid. Because he doesn't. He does that with his up forearm and he just pushes. And as you say, his push slides up his chest and goes like that. He doesn't throw an elbow at all. When I first saw it, I was really embarrassed. But then as the week went on, I started to think, well, I know it doesn't make it right, but everyone else does it. And we've been, Mourinho himself has tarnished us with being nice guys and being too nice, and not being good. And that's not the ugly side of the game. It's not, let's be honest. But you could argue that it won us the game. So I still am a bit embarrassed by it because I think the referee had obviously already seen it. He's seen him slap him in the face or in the chin or whatever you want to say. And he's already going over. So don't go down. Just if you're going to do anything, at worst, just lean over and hold your mouth, whatever. Don't go down though, because it's just embarrassing, man. And it's not a red, I don't think. I know you say letter of the law, but again, I probably would say book them both, be done with it.
Yeah. It was just the way he went down made it so much worse. So much worse. It's so slow.
I immediately liked it. I think like we were talking about it, Pete, a little bit in like a different group chat, maybe our family one, but our immediate family, sorry, Ollie. Immediate family group chat. And so,
I'm
like
offended.
Yeah, a few people in there were moaning it's cheating, it's wrong, and weren't happy. My immediate thought was, you know what? Who did you hate growing up? You hated like Arsenal and United, and what did they get called all the time? Cheats and everything. They get given everything, and the refs are always on their side. And I thought to myself, well, we got a bit of a decision there that maybe we could have got sent off from both of them, but it went our way. People calling Lamela a cheat. Maybe that's a good sign. I just thought, bit of shithousery. I think, he gets away with it because he brushes up. And arguably, what that bloke was saying, Pete, is semi-true in that it's going to hurt more to get a bit of an arm in the throat than it is to get tapped in the face. So maybe the rule's a bit weird in that it should be to the neck as well. I don't know. But the rules are you can't touch the opponent's face. So Martial had to get sent off. and Lamela gets a little bit lucky because he probably should get sent off,
Yeah.
but if he brushes up the chest and then sort of seemingly accidentally goes to the chin, gets away with it. I think.
But Martial's thick, man. Like, you got to be smarter than that. It was very similar to the one where, was it James Rodriguez was winding up Kieran Gibbs and he pushed him in the face.
Yeah.
You think, just be smarter. Just be smarter. You can't, you know that there's cameras everywhere, that they're going to go and check it. I was really surprised, actually, when they did check it, they didn't overturn it, to be fair. Like, with everything they've been chopping and changing, how they didn't overturn it, I don't know. But let's go past the red card.
Exactly.
On to the third goal.
Lamela might have got tapped, but United definitely got slapped. So instead of Lamela, I mean, yes, what he done was instrumental, and it was a lot of the Mourinho. You have to be nasty. You have to be CUNTs. You have to be horrible players, and Lamela kind of epitomised that, and he is kind of prime for it. I also like that he took him off at half time because 100% he would have done something else. But then, like we say, the goals after that, and we were bashing them before he got sent off.
We had 3 massive chances before he got sent.
Big blocks from Bailly, to be fair, a few blocks.
And the one with Son as well, I think Lamela picks up on the edge of our box, he intercepts it, gets aside and puts this like beautiful free ball straight over the top. And you're just waiting for Son to score, and he just runs into De Gea, doesn't he? Just a last touch, I think.
It was weird to see. He messed up the touch, but you were thinking nothing but net here.
Yeah.
On that,
Sonny scored.
When I first saw it on that same subject, Son's first goal, did you think De Gea should have come?
Yeah.
I felt like his touch was heavy, and I thought, De Gea's going to come out at his feet here, and he just stayed at home, and then the finish was quality.
That's a
great thinking from Kane, but I thought De Gea should have come.
That is a nervous GK. I watched as well. Sky Sports are doing like this sort of match day pass, whatever, and they do like 10-minute highlights of games. But you can really hear the talking, and he's screaming H as he goes to go. He
really?
Ruin at him, and Harry plays it straight away. To be fair to Harry, so it's not all quick thinking from H. Sonny's alert to it, and he's screaming. You can see Harry doesn't even look, but at this point we're like godlike Kane. He doesn't even look, and he knows where Sonny is. But yeah, Sonny's screaming to him, and he plays the ball and does the rest. But I think you're right, Pete. I can't believe De Gea didn't come. He looks a nervous goalkeeper to me.
It's quite a downfall, isn't it, De Gea?
Massively.
I think Henderson will be. Sorry, at the risk of talking about Man United all day, I think Henderson will be number 1 by the end of the season.
Yeah, when Ollie gets sacked.
Yeah, probably.
What do you mean? That's news to me.
if and when Ollie gets sacked.
From the pod, oh no.
Just hoping that Pochettino doesn't go in there. I really want him to go win trophies abroad somewhere. So I want him to be successful, but not in our face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be awful, wouldn't it?
So that'd be the hope. But yeah, then the third and fourth goal, I mean, I'm trying, number 3, oh, wow. De Gea, I mean, Bailly, tries to play it out, doesn't he? And Kane again, really great, really alert, slides in, blocks it.
Yeah.
I thought Sonny was going to, if I'm Sonny, I'd probably shoot. So fair play to him, because I'm thinking, I'm bagging goals for fun here. The ball's been given to me in the box. I'm going to have a shot.
But you can hear H, in that one, you can hear H screaming the other way, yes, Sonny.
And the two of them happy to share. You know, you set me up, I'll set you up, no problem. Absolutely no problem at all. And then, so we'll go into the fourth one, just we'll try and get through it quick and go into other things. But as you were saying, Ollie, the amount of space Aurier afforded throughout the game. And there's a few shots that, like, you boys see, Luke Shaw is like so obsessed with Harry Kane.
That's weird.
A few goals that he's at centre back, and Maguire's going to left back. He doesn't want to be there. He goes out. He's totally uncomfortable. It was embarrassing. And also, Solskjaer's decision to put Pogba left mid to keep him on the pitch. Whatever, he took off Bruno. He kept Pogba on the pitch. Put Pogba left mid. I don't care how you organise it. That was ridiculous. Because he's not going to put in a shift for you, and he's not going to help at all defensively. So we just run riot. And Aurier had a great game, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
phenomenal game.
Space he was afforded was embarrassing. But Pete, we'll go to you. Pete, take us through like at least the fifth one. The sixth was a pen, but shuffle us through.
Fifth one, someone needs to, obviously, Højbjerg gets a massive mention because his first time through ball is class, man. And I thought on the day, for me, I know we won 6-1 and you don't normally do this, but I'd give him man of the match. I thought he was class. I thought he did. I thought he was the player that I tweeted about. He was the player that we thought we'd signed that was going to sit in that pivot and do a job for us, and he was sensational. I thought covered every blade of grass. He bullied them in there, and they're not small boys as well. You had Pogba, Fernandes is not particularly big, but like Pogba and Matic are big lads, and he bullied them. I thought he was sensational, and the pass, I didn't think he had that in him. Not just the way to pass, but the fact that he saw it so quick. And as you say, Aurier was. And even that, again, sorry, just goes back to you saying about Pogba not tracking on the left-hand side, because it's him that it gets played inside of. And he never once tries to get back at Aurier. And good touch, but I feel like any professional footballer should finish from that position.
He likes that thing, doesn't he, when he sort of like...
Yeah. And I agree. I saw JJ said on Match of the Day afterwards, because obviously had to watch Match of the Day even though we just watched the game. And he said it was Aurier's best game in a Spurs shirt, which I probably agree with.
Yeah,
it was just nice to see us playing good football. And like you say, the sending off almost tarnishes it a little bit from our side. Yes, we slapped them, but everyone will go, oh yeah, but they were down to 10 men. But like you said, we were banging them before then. They were all over them. From as soon as they scored the penalty, after that, we bossed them. They had a little bit of a period where at 2-1 they had a couple of shots from the edge of the area.
Rashford hit the post.
Rashford hit the post, but I think he was offside.
Oh, yes, he was.
I might have changed it. We don't know.
Greenwood had one that flashed wide, but after that, we just real good, real good, and it was nice to see. It just seemingly is the Bale effect has lifted everything.
Well, it's just competition, isn't it? Competition for places is so important, and there's not one player there you'd say, probably bar H and Son, who are guaranteed a spot. Well, Lloris obviously, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of in the right places as well. We saw, even under Poch when we went close in the league those couple of years, like being Rose and Walker, they were being pushed by Trips and Ben Davies as well. And I appreciate they weren't as good players, but you've still got to play to keep your place. And it's very much the same. We've got 4 fullbacks now; they're all competing. We've got 2 strikers. We've got so many wingers. We've got so much depth now. It really is exciting, I think, for us. In the league is generally quite a squad orientated sort of competition, isn't it? Whereas cups you get them runs and you get a bit lucky. Whereas the league is about being consistent over a period of time, which it's what Mourinho does. And you've got to be excited, really. I'm very excited for our season, particularly if Bale comes in and he hits the ground running. Obviously, we'll see. The West Ham game is the next game for him, and they've been penciled in as his debut. And reading lots of stuff on Twitter, how the staff have been like blown away with his sort of application, fitness, strength, and stuff like that. So it all sounds good. You'll probably get injured first game, but we'll see.
You're turning into me, young man. You are. As you say, I was about squad depth. I don't think it's a coincidence that Serge Aurier probably had his 2 best games in a Spurs shirt against Man United and Chelsea since Matt Doherty's come in, who obviously he was sitting there and Walker Peters was there at the start and Mourinho showed he didn't like him, loaned him out, so he knew he was going to play week in, week out. All of a sudden, he's brought in a right back that he obviously likes and Aurier stepped it up. So I don't care, man. If Aurier plays incredible and Matt Doherty never plays another game, don't care if Aurier plays well.
Aurier's got all the attributes to be a phenomenal football player. He's quick, he's strong, can jump. He's got legs for days. Like, he's so fit. So fair play.
He nearly got.
I thought your type was blonde hair, blue eyes, Ollie.
Yeah,
well, he did have blonde hair at the start of the season, Pete. He did dye it. Him and Ndombele. So there you go.
And he nearly got in the team. He did nearly get into the most handsome 6-a-side team.
He did.
He was close.
I also think had Vinisca signed, he probably would have jumped in ahead of JD.
No, not the Pussy Ranger. No,
Pussy Ranger.
Not a chance. That man is just shelling girls.
If anyone is unsure of what we're talking about last week's 6-a-side, which I'd recommend you go back and listen to because it was rather good. But if I say so myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick one, boys, before we move away from the Spurs United game. One little moment, 2 players you just mentioned, Pete, particular, Aurier and Højbjerg. When Aurier in the first half, at one point he chased back, put a great challenge on Rashford, and just goes nuts, goes absolutely nuts. And and that's at like 25 minutes in less than. I think it was like 2-1 at the time. Yeah, ridiculous. I loved that. I absolutely loved that from Højbjerg. He looked a proper general, like you said. But love talking about that. We could talk about that for ages, to be fair, but let's try and come away from it and talk about a few different parts of it, what we're looking to do today. So one being, Pete, you mentioned it. So the team, San Diego Loyal, I think Landon Donovan, who's not their captain now, but what they did the other week, was it this week or last week? But you speak about it, you read about it more than me. I saw about it, but only little bits.
He's actually the manager / co-owner, so that's I don't know if he's co-owner or just owner, but I was reading up about it, which is interesting. I'm going to buy this football team, and I'm going to make myself the manager. Effectively, Ols, in case you haven't seen it, what happened was they play in the league below the MLS almost, but you don't get relegated into it. It's like a separate franchise, and is not as big. And they have the only openly gay footballer playing in America play for them. And he was, someone made a homophobic comment towards him during a game. And the week previous, they'd had someone another player racially abuse one of their players. And they finished the game. This time, they got told about it at halftime, came out, took the knee before the start of the second half, and he walked the players off the pitch, and they didn't finish the fixture.
And it was a playoff game, wasn't it? It was important. I don't know if it was a playoff game, but I think it was. If they win, they get into the playoffs or something like that. And they were beating top of the league, and they walked off and didn't finish the fixture. And the interview with Landon Donovan was really interesting because he said they all felt after the guy was racially abused, they came off and they were disappointed they didn't do something in the moment. Like the guys had like a 7-game ban or something. But they were disappointed they didn't do something in the moment, and they decided from then that if anything ever happened again, they would do something about it there and then. So they didn't finish the game. And I just think it's a massive, massive moment in football. I just think we all watched the England game. I can't remember who we were playing away to, and they kept stopping it and going talking to the ref about the fans being racist towards the England players. And we all said at the time, they've got to walk off. They can't just keep letting it happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's a massive statement for a club to do that. And I just thought it was incredible. And I thought it deserved a mention in our World of Football segment.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned the England game, because I remember thinking, and it may sound bad, but I remember thinking it even more strongly because it meant nothing, that game. Pretty sure it was I'm pretty sure we already smashed it. It was either qualifying or whatever, but we'd already sorted and we didn't even need those points. Why not just walk off, just make a powerful statement? And so even more props to them, because it was a big, important game, and they just went, no. And people have to notice. It's like when I thought sorry to take it away from football, but in NBA at one point, like LeBron James was talking about getting all teams to refuse to play. We're just not going to play. We're not going to do it until something gets sorted from the top. And they did end up playing. And I thought that would have been incredible if the NBA teams had just decided to not do that. It's such a powerful statement, like, especially without being too political. In America, you have like people who are quite openly racist, but then they'll watch a black player, but get a slam dunk, and then be like, yes, and celebrate, but openly. It's mental. Like all forms of prejudice are just crazy. So yeah, powerful stuff. Ollie, you want to say anything about it, or do you want us to move on?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I didn't really know about that, to be honest. And I like to think I'm quite up to date on sort of the football world. So it's interesting that that's not something that's really made its way into my life. So I don't know whether it's something that I've just missed or what have you, but it seems like for something so sort of potentially poignant and powerful for it to have not really made it into the mainstream, I would suggest. I don't know if it did and I just missed it or what, but it seems strange that, you know, if that did happen and that was such a big thing, that it didn't sort of make it across into the mainstream, which is a shame if that is the case.
I do think, I agree with you. I think it needed more coverage than what it got.
Yeah, so I think, to be fair, think about it, I remember reading about a team walking off, but not why they walked off. And it's one of those just passing sort of on Twitter, it sort of pops up on a trend or whatever. But I don't necessarily like have it. Didn't stick out like you said about you want to talk about it, and I was a bit like, talk about what? I didn't quite understand, but you know, so now, but it is now it's a poignant thing and something that, you know, it's good for them, good on them to, you know, promote that, and that's the right thing to do. And with the England game as well, like, they should have walked off. I don't understand, you know, these people are people, they're humans, right? And they don't deserve to be treated like that. So why can you reward these people with entertainment? Like, you shouldn't just walk off and take it away from them. Make the higher ups stop turning everything into a marketing scheme and some sort of publicity ploy and stuff, and just take action. You're in the position of power to do so do so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's nice to see that we're still taking the knee. I see some people moaning about that, but I like it because it's just still in your face. It's carrying on. So moan about it if you want, but it's nothing major. It takes 2 seconds and we carry on it and it stays relevant and it continues. So it's nice to see that the Prem is still doing things like that and at least making some things happen. But we'll roll on. Nice little segment that though, Pete. I enjoyed that. And we'll talk about just quickly the Europa League squad. I mean, by and large, pretty normal. I saw some people were like worried. I think, like Tanganga's not named in the 25, but there's like a B list, isn't there? Which means that if you're homegrown and so on of a certain age, you can just jump right in. So that's no concern at all. The 3 players left out who of note, really, or people are speaking about. Danny Rose, don't think anyone's really too upset or too surprised. I mean, I don't like how he's being treated, but I get it. I get that he's not in the plans now. Gazaniga was a big one, and then Jedson was kind of like, well, what's the point of him being here if he's not going to be a Europa League player? I get this homegrown thing, maybe those two, but I was surprised about Gaza because I think you put your 3 top goalies, and I still think Gazaniga is a better goalie than Joe Hart, albeit not a better leader at this point. But Pete, what did you make of those 3 guys being left out? Did you find any discrepancies?
Well, Gazaniga, I'm not the biggest fan of Gazaniga anyway. And I'm surprised he may still leave in the British transfer window because obviously he might go to someone in the Premier League or in the Championship, but it doesn't bother me. It's like, who have they put in instead? I haven't even seen who went in instead of him.
Whiteman.
Yeah.
Whiteman. See, we did talk about that potentially happening where Joe Hart goes above him in the pecking order and you get rid of Gazaniga and it opens up another. Doesn't matter now because you can't buy anyone unless you buy someone who's foreign from someone else in this country. But Danny Rose, I agree with you. I hate the way he's being treated, but I think a big chunk of that is down to his attitude. He doesn't help himself, as we all saw in the documentary. I think for him, he has to go in this transfer window. He cannot stay because he's openly talked about mental health issues before. And I just don't see how that'll be good for his mental health, being stuck in an environment where he knows he's not wanted. And it guaranteed Jose won't let him train with the first team. He'll be with the under 18s or something, or the under 21s, 23s, or whatever it is.
The under 23s.
Yeah.
And then Gedson, like I said, to me, him being there now currently, the only thing he can do well is help Niska settle in. Other than that, I don't see his purpose in the club. I don't think he's very good. And he's brought nothing since he's been there. So once that loan, I don't think we will be exercising the right to buy him at the end of the loan.
Like 45 mil, isn't it? Or something mad like that.
Yeah, let him go.
No, agreed. And Ollie,
it's a numbers game, isn't it? Unfortunately, we've got a lot of foreign players. We're not helped by Dyer, Doherty, and Davies. We have to assign them all as foreign players, which doesn't help. Dyer being like international England starter, but because he started his career in Portugal, has to be assigned to their FA, so therefore he's a foreign player. Davies and Doherty as well are both for Ireland and Wales, so they're different FAs. So again, they're excluded. So in the Premier League, it's different, but in Europa League, they have to exclude. Obviously, the 3 players they chose to exclude. So there's no one else you wouldn't. If you lined up all the players, they're probably the 2 you'd leave out, and then Rose is Rose. And he needs to leave for his own sake. It's kind of mental, really. He must be due a testimonial, really. 10 years at the club. And unfortunately for him, it's ended how it's ended. It seems to be he started with that unbelievable goal, and then it sort of nothing really happened. He came back under Poch, got converted to a left back, had a couple of seasons, and then was linked to sort of your Man United and stuff at the time. And nothing happened. He stayed, and then he just got sort of pushed down the pecking order, and unfortunately, he is where he is now. And it's a shame, really, for him because he was a great servant for Spurs, really. He probably deserves a better send-off. You saw with Vertonghen and Vorm and stuff how they got sent off on the documentary, and Rose deserves that. He does deserve that. But unfortunately, with Poch being gone, and he fell out of him, he fell out with Mourinho, supposedly. And it's just unfortunate, really, but he had to be the odd man out in this scenario.
Yeah,
I hope for him that Leeds come in for him. I'd really like him to go back to Leeds. That would be nice. But
they can't move to Premier League club, I don't think. It has to be EFL. I'm sure it's EFL transfer.
Right, yeah.
I thought it was Premier League and could it not be between each other?
No, I think it's Premier Leagues can deal with lower leagues, and lower leagues can deal with lower leagues, but the Premier League's like exempt from dealing within themselves.
Fair enough.
I think that was my understanding.
I think that is correct as well. I do think that's right. Hence why, we're delving into the champ potentially for that centre back from Swansea and so on. But I digress. We'll move through, boys. And like you say, I agree with everything you said. It's particularly for Danny Rose. I feel really sorry for him, and he does deserve a big send-off. And I don't think it will happen, but I'd love, once fans are allowed back in stadium, some sort of game for Vertonghen and Rose, and so that would be fantastic. Even though form come, but I don't think it will happen. But I'd love to see that. But Ollie, I've got a little question for you. What's it time for?
Well, Jerry, I believe it is time for that six-a-side segment.
Yes, it's that six-a-side segment. Probably our favourite part of the show, I'd say, chaps. Or growing to love it. Don't know if the people do, but we certainly love it.
We love doing it.
But this week we decided that we wanted to do the sort of flashiest / most skillful, the tricksters of the team. I think flashy was a bit of a underpass that you could maybe try and find someone else. So let's be honest, we haven't had the most tricksters in the world. I mean, I feel some positions were easy, other positions nightmare. But I'll open proceedings. I actually picked someone that I've already picked, and sadly enough, I picked this goalkeeper for the worst team. The worst keeper to have played for Spurs, and now I'm picking him for the most flash. I just think Gomez had things for him. Aurelio Gomez had a super long throw that he would love to try and do, but it was just a bit needless. He wore a gum shield. I know that should make him a bit tougher, but to me that made him a bit more flash. I don't want to get hurt. I'm a bit silly. Knocking people out, one-punch specialist. If he was a boxer, you'd find him exciting. I put Gomez down. Plus he's Brazilian. I don't know. I thought that added to it. So in my head, he was the one. So that's what I've gone for. Ollie, what did you go for?
So I've actually gone for Paul Robinson. And I'm going to explain to you why. Because I was luckily at the game where he scored against Watford. So he gets extra flash points for scoring a goal, albeit very inadvertently. And albeit I actually didn't see it at all because I was talking to my dad because it was a goal kick. No one's watching a goal kick, Paul. But yeah, he scored, and so that's what gets him into my flashiest team.
Robbo.
Well, this might be a first for us where we've all gone for someone completely different.
Okay.
I've gone for our current goalkeeper in Hugo Lloris, in that I don't think he's very good at it, but he does try to turn people in the box. I believe he did against Danny Ings last year and lost the ball.
World Cup final.
And he's just, as well. So he's not very good at it, but I believe that he tries to be the best with his feet and chop and turn people when he shouldn't. So we're going to have to take a vote, boys.
Go on, Ollie. You go first.
I'm going to have to go for Gomez, I think. Because Lloris has tried and failed too many times to be classed as skillful or tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Lloris though, because I think like you say, he tries it. But if you're thinking who's the most modern goalkeeper, I guess, and modern goalkeepers use their feet more, and by that are more flash, I guess.
He hasn't scored though, Jez, has he?
He hasn't scored, but the mere fact the man's name is Paul Robinson kind of takes my plans for tricksters. I just feel like he can't be there. But go on, Pete, you're deciding vote.
Oh, I don't really want to put him in. But I think you've swayed it by telling me how boring Paul Robinson is. So I'm going for Gomez. I'm going for Gomez. Going for Gomez.
No, I thought I had it.
No, mate, it'd have been two. We didn't have to go around again. It'd have been 2 points each. because we all went for different ones.
Yeah, true.
Gomez makes it. Come on.
How's he got in the worst team and the flashiest team?
There's something to it.
Says a lot about goalkeepers, doesn't it?
That is it, yeah. I think to be a goalkeeper, it's probably quite hard to be flash. Although, I mean, Edison, obviously, maybe the exception to the rule, because I feel like he could come out and bust his out and so on.
Yeah, he could play up front, couldn't he? No problem.
Go on then, Jez, let's hear your 2 defenders.
Okay, so the first one, and I found it hard because I think defenders, tricksy defenders was difficult, especially for us, because over the years, you can't say we've had too many, pretty much any flash fullbacks, especially centre-halves. We haven't really had too many technically gifted centre-halves. Take away, I mean, Leddy's decent. I mean, Jan and Toby, but are they particularly flash? Maybe not. Toby I thought about just because he's got a bit of a cool haircut, but that's not really it. Again, I was looking for a loophole, but I went.
That was last week.
Yeah, exactly. I went for Benoit Asuakotu as my first one for his one trick. I'm going to play it down the line. No, I've chopped inside it. Absolute genius of a fullback, and I love Benny because he just openly didn't like football, which I thought was quality. And then the second player I went for, I struggled, but I've gone for Juan Foyth, and maybe similar to sort of Lloris in terms of not necessarily very good at it, but he is over the top calm, and I'm pretty sure I've seen him try and flick it over a couple of strikers' heads and be a little bit flash. So I went for Juan Foyth as my other most skillful, tricksy sort of FIFA kid playing, trying to do tricks all day. Players. Ollie, where'd you stand? Where'd you go for?
Good choice, Jez, I have to say. I've also gone for Benoit Asuakoto, purely for the hair and that infamous chop. The chop that was going to play it down the line, and now we're coming inside. But I've also I've loosely used the word flash in that I've gone for YP Lee, being the fact that he was a right-footed left back.
Lee Young Pyo.
And yeah, he was a right-footed left back. He was actually quite good, and he was quite good on the ball from what I remember. So yeah, YP Lee is snuck into my flashiest defence of the six-a-side.
Well, boys, the chop has made it into the team. Benoit Asuakoto gets 3 votes.
And that's a first, isn't it? That's a full house.
The trifecta.
I think we had a couple. We might have had a couple in the first week. Do we have a couple of full houses? Gomez was a full house. I thought Fazio was a full house as well.
I think so.
In the worst team. Go back and check it out, boys and girls. Watch it back. See who's right on that one.
I'm not sure I picked Fazio, but okay.
What we'll do, Pete, is at the end of the season, we'll have a squad of legends who have had 3 votes each, and that will be this first all-time squad, and that's what we're building. That is what we're building, and they'll each get an armband. One will say ugly, one will say ugly. Be perfect. That's what we'll go for.
And I've gone for Jan. Just you were saying about being on the ball, and I just thought he was so good on the ball. And I remember him turning players and just reading the game. Well, I understand what he may not make it in, but like you said, I found it really hard to think of any defenders to get in there. So yeah, who's going to play with Benny?
Yeah, well, we're going to a vote. I'm taken by Lee Young Pyo.
I'm more than happy to put in Lee Young Pyo because I just don't know how many other teams he's going to get into. So let's put him in.
I'll tell you my big reason why I think he's the flashiest and could be the trick. Not that he's a trickster. I'm pretty sure his name got put down in every single form, didn't it? In different times, and that's flash, isn't it? I'm Lee Young Pyo today. No, Pyo Lee you. It just changed every game. So that's a flash man if ever I've seen one. Yeah. I'm up with. In my head now, all I can see is him doing step overs and going down the line, but I don't really think he ever did that.
Every week you did that, Jez, as far as I'm aware.
I seem to remember him just being really industrious and not very flash at all, and somehow he's made it in. So,
but he was a right-footed left back. It's unheard of.
Absolute baller from what I remember. Proper flash.
He was. He loved to dribble.
Right. Midfielders, Jerry.
Go into the midfield. I found this one easy. Well, easiest in terms of I could think of a load.
Yeah.
But difficult to pick. So I ended up with 3. Sorry, I ended up with 4. And if you don't mind, I'll say the 4 boys, and then I'll tell you the 2 I picked. So the 4 I had down was 1 current player in Tanguy. I had Ginola. I had Paul Gascoigne, and I had Stefan Dalmat. Absolutely loving a trick, Stefan. And so for flashiest and biggest tricksters, I actually ended up going for Ginola and Dalmat. Not saying that like Gaza and Tanguy, it's hard to say they're better. Ginola's obviously fantastic. Stefan Dalmat's not of the caliber, but they may be better at tricks, probably. But I actually went for these 2 because I thought in terms of the whole aura as well, like Ginola and then Dalmat as well, to me. I'm a flash.
Stefan Dalmat came with the tagline, "The poor man's Zinedine Zidane."
yeah, exactly. And he come in and he could have done a few step overs first game. I think we thought he was pretty decent. This guy's going to have it. And then he absolutely fell off the train. But in the moments when I've seen him play, I was like, yeah, you're flash, to the point of like probably killing how you actually play. So I've gone for Dalmat and David Ginola because, David Ginola just, je ne sais quoi, like, absolutely loved him. Sexy footballer. He never made it, by the way, until
I know. I did
say
think about that afterwards. He should have made it.
Oh, that's bad. That is bad. I mean, Ollie fucking put Michael Dawson in there at one point, and we didn't even put Ginola in the team. That is
he's
mad.
a centre back, isn't he? He's not a midfielder, Jez.
Ollie, on to you, mate. On to you.
So I actually thought we'd all go for the same 2 players, but we've not, because Jez has not said either of the players I put in my team, and I thought they were absolutely nailed on. Anyway,
I reckon I've got one of them.
Adel Tarabt being one.
Oh,
not that he was actually a good footballer, but he was unbelievably like with tricky nutmegs, that sort of stuff. And I've also gone for Kevin Prince Boateng as well. So I remember him being like an unbelievable trickster as well. So I've just gone for pure tricks in this one. And Ndombele is a good shout, to be fair. I had sort of forgotten about Ndombele a little bit in that sense. But yeah, I remember Adel Tarabt being like, and Boateng to the same degree, thinking they were going to be unbelievable because they were really good on the ball and they weren't actually that good.
Tarabt, to be fair, Tarabt he's class.
He's a proper skiller as well, to be fair. I mean, there's that QPR season.
Yeah. Redknapp liked him, didn't he? To me, that's a massive shout. I should have thought of him. Sorry, Pete, on to you, mate.
Well, I did go for... I'm going to hold you up my team just to prove that I did put Tarabt and Tanguy.
I haven't seen the striker.
Nice.
Tarabt and... Oh, sorry, guys. Tarabt and Tanguy I went
obvious,
for.
By the way.
Yeah, I think Tanguy...
Yeah, Tanguy.
I didn't think... I had Stefan Dalmat was in my head, but I couldn't remember him well enough to put him in. Ginola was in my head and Gaza was in my head as well. I also thought of Kevin. I basically thought of everyone, but I went for Tarabt and Tanguy. I think, and I think that gets Tarabt straight in.
Yeah.
So we need to vote.
So, Ollie, who was yours? Sorry, Boateng.
I had Kevin Prince Boateng. Well, yeah. So that was my only choice.
I'd like to go first. I'm going to go with Ginola because I think it's such a travesty that he didn't make it into the best looking team, so he has to go into this most skillful, I think.
Yeah, that is bad. That is actually so bad. Can we amend them, or is that not allowed?
No amendments.
Oh,
go on, Jez.
Fair enough. I'll go Tanguy. I think Boateng, I describe him as flash. I wouldn't say he's necessarily the most tricksy, but massive shout out to Raptoli because, that he should have been getting 3 points. He should have been in the squad of legends. And I apologise for that.
I actually don't know. I'm going to go Tanguy, I think he is the skiller for me because he just loves it, doesn't he? A simple pass, he'll do a back heel for no reason, which kind of gets the point, isn't it, I suppose?
Ginola is probably he's probably described more as smooth. He has got tricks, very technically gifted footballer.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but would I say he's necessarily too flash? Not as flash as Tanguy, like you say, who loves it, who absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
But
David, if you're watching, we'll find a way to get you into one of the teams, I promise.
Absolutely, and he's a massive fan of the pod, unlike hideous Danny Murphy.
Danny bloody Murphy.
I'd say he's nowhere near this. He never done a trick in his life. Danny Murphy. Flash, absolutely not. Poor Danny Murphy sitting there with his sweater vest on.
He's never
Not
had a trick in his life.
a chance. Strikers.
The
Yeah.
biggest trick, Jerry, the biggest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he wasn't real. Danny Murphy.
Maybe you're right, Peter. Maybe if we were thinking tricksters as in pranksters, Danny Murphy had all our pants down, didn't he, to get into that? So maybe it's a good shout. Yeah, Pete, you've given the game away, haven't you? I think we've probably all gone with the same guy. Berbatov.
It's got to be Berber, innit?
Into the team of legends he goes.
Oh, get me. Sign it off. Just
Trips.
amazing to watch. It's one of those players that's just so easy. It makes you jealous. I mean, when I play, I'm 100 miles an hour, and I need to be. If I calm down a bit, I'm probably not going to play very well. But Berbatov, he was in first gear, didn't he? Always used to put his hand on someone's chest and be like, "No, I'm keeping it. I'm going to keep it." And he's just unreal. I didn't really. There are other tricksy strikers. I mean, for me, Keane was a bit of a genius. But would I say he was necessarily trickster and flash? No, I just think he was like a professor. Just really legend in his craft. And
Teddy Sheringham style.
Sheringham, yeah, that's someone else I thought of. Again, I put him, like you say, Pete, same as Keane, like a just student of the game who just understood how to play. Did you boys, I'm assuming you went to Berber, but Ollie, do you have anyone else you thought about, potentially?
Yeah, not really. It was always with Berber for me. I love the story at training. I'm not quite sure where I heard it, where he used to just play at the back in training. He'd just play like centre half and just dribble past everybody and score every training session. That's all he'd do. You just think, that's my striker.
And Pete, do you have any tempted by anyone else?
I genuinely didn't even think about anyone else. He's one of the ones that I just put him in straight away. I didn't contemplate. There was never ever going to be anyone other than him. Best first touch I think I've seen at Spurs, especially out of the air. Unbelievable.
The turn for Man United, even though it wasn't for Spurs, was just that touch.
Oh, United again.
Oh, bloody United.
But it was
All you ever talk
unbelievable,
about is
wasn't it?
Man United.
You're just the media, mate. You and them. You can't fool us. You can't trick us. We know it's all a hoax.
This is why you're getting sacked off the pod, mate.
like my namesake. I did see quite a funny one on Twitter the other day that they've started calling them the clowns of '92, which did make me chuckle a little bit. Being their media influence is so great. But anyway, I suppose to summarise the six-a-side segment, we need to run through the final team. So we have in goal Aurelio Gomez, who is the first player to make it into two teams out of three so far. So he's doing really well. Worst 11 and the trickiest 11. So, make of that what you will. At the back, we've got Benoit Assou-Ekotto and YP Lee to just terrorise attackers, I should say. And sorry?
Benny's in two teams, isn't he? Isn't Benny getting the Hampton team as well?
He may have done. To be fair.
I think he is.
Yeah. He was also the first player to receive the prestigious Team of Legends today with a full house of votes. So well done, Benny. And
I'm telling you, there's two. I'm telling you, there's others.
We'll see. We will see, Peter, won't we? Maybe the viewers can let us know. In midfield, we've got it's a pair that will never lose the ball ever. In Adel Tarapt and Tanguy Ndombele. And then up front, we've got Berbatov. He's just going to put everything away and just control everything with no problems whatsoever. So there you have it. The flashiest / most skillful, are you not entertained six-a-side team.
Right, boys, we're coming to the last part of the show until we all have to go to bed. It's getting so late.
Very late.
So let's get through it. But before we just finish off, and we'll come back to it at the end of the season and see who comes closest. But we're going to do it now in the danger of being overexcited, just coming off a 6-1 win. Bale not even played yet. Everything's brewing, momentum strong. But I'm going to ask you both, realistically, or your hopes as well, where do you think Spurs will finish this season? And in terms of cup competitions, do you think we're going to get that trophy that we so burningly desire? So, Ollie, I'll come. Actually, no. I'm going to go to Peter first. I'm worried Pete might say we're going to get relegated and no chance of silverware. So I'm going to come to Pete first. Pete, what are your ambitions this season?
Well, first of all, I don't think we're going to get relegated. That would be silly. Ambitions, if I say win a trophy, is that too vague? Do you want more specific trophy?
I'd like you to get a bit more specific than that.
Thing is, we can't really be picky. So I would take the League Cup, but I'd rather the FA Cup. I think that would be my ultimate trophy, excluding the league, because obviously the Premier League would be incredible. I'd rather win the FA Cup than the Europa League in terms of its prestige. But then winning the Europa League gives you more in that it gives you a place in the Champions League, which you could potentially miss out on via the league. I still think I just don't think that Liverpool and City...
If you're pessimistic, be pessimistic, Pete. Just do it for us.
I want to be able to say that I think we'll finish top 4, but I just got this feeling that Chelsea will start to come good. Liverpool and City will get back at it. I'm going to say we're going to finish 4th. There you go. I think we'll finish 4th behind City, Liverpool, not in this order necessarily, and Chelsea. And we win the FA Cup.
Nice. And then, sorry, just so I can ask you, what happens to us in the League Cup and the Europa League? Because we're in the quarter-final of the League Cup. We're only playing one game.
We are in the quarter-final of the League Cup. We're only playing one game. I think we'll have a League Cup game in between a couple of big Premier League games, and you'll play a slightly weaker squad and we'll get knocked out.
Against Stoke or round up?
No, I think we'll beat Stoke. I think we'll probably get a big team in the semis. Or actually what would be interesting would be to see how we get on if we get to a final. And I know it's the League Cup and it's not the biggest one, but how much has Mourinho changed our mentality? Because on big nights, finals, like the Champions League final and semi-finals before that, obviously not including Ajax, but semi-finals before that against Chelsea, Man United in the FA Cup, we bottled it on the day. So let's say we get to the final of the League Cup and we'll see what happens then, what Mourinho's done to their mentality. There you go.
But your prediction, you're saying we don't win the League Cup, so you're going to go for we win the FA Cup and we finish 4th.
No, that's more of an ambition that we win the FA Cup. I'm not saying that's a prediction, but I predict we'll finish 4th in the league. That's my prediction.
All right. I would have liked you to predict it for the Cups as well, but you've been a bit vague, so I'm going to go to Ollie. Ollie, what are you saying?
I'm going...
Quadruple!
Sorry?
Quadruple!
You're not wrong. No, final of the League Cup, I think... Yeah, final of the League Cup, I think we'll win the Europa League, and I genuinely believe we'll finish top 2.
Wow.
I've lived up to my name so well.
Tell us why though, Ollie. Why do you think we'll finish top 2?
Because I just look at our squad and I just think it's got the depth and the strength to push on that sort of multiple fronts, really. I think we've made a big deal of the Europa League this year, and I think because of that, we'll go far in it. And I think depends on who we get, we go all the way. Like with anything really, like Champions League, it all kind of depends on who you get along the way and where they are in their forms realistically.
It's the Champions League dropouts, isn't it?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It does depend on who you get at that stage, but I do think we'll win it. I think Mourinho wants us to win it. Then Levy wants us to win it. I mean, I'm not personally, I know everyone goes on about trophies, but I don't. It's always difficult. I don't think they're necessarily a great parameter of like success generally. I think we've had a great few years, but people either were unsuccessful because they haven't won a trophy. But does winning the League Cup make that period of time better? I don't think it does, but it's one of those. You know what I mean? But I think we'll get to the final of the League Cup purely because of where we've ended up. We've got Stoke now. I like to say let's beat them, and it's a semi-final, and then I think we could easily beat any of the teams in it. Really, well, it's a cup, isn't it? And yeah, I just think the league is so wide open this year. Like it's just mental. So I think we'll be a little surprise package in the league.
All right, so you've gone
and maybe even win the league.
Oh, this is what I say. Like, I think if I'm predicting, if I was having a bet, I reckon we'll finish 3rd. I think, like Pete, I think Chelsea will come good, but I actually think it will take them a little bit too long. And we'll establish something to get a little bit ahead of them. By the time they come good, I think they'll have a surge, maybe make your life a bit hard for us and other teams. But I think we'll finish third below. I still think Liverpool in the league, despite their mental result. And I think City will finish second. I think they'll come good. But they are going to have a tough time because without their two strikers for a good month, put them in a bit of trouble, which again gives us a chance. So everybody's saying second is potential for that. And you have to be really excited every time you think about what our squad is now and who we've got and how we're looking. Momentum is massive. And let me throw it out there that and this is the only way we could win the league, we would have to just go and go and go and not have any hiccups, because as soon as something caused a bit of a problem, you would likely think that, we've not won before, we wouldn't be able to get it going again and to return to momentum is huge. And the longer we keep momentum going, the more you start to believe in our direction. And the only thing you can say about the season so far that is predictable is its unpredictability.
Mental, isn't it?
All that you're seeing are absolutely mad. So in a season like this where it's absolute mayhem, what better year have you got a chance to give it a go for going for the league? I mean, if Bale hits the ground running and so on, but we won't go over the top. But I will say that I think we could finish third or second this year, depending on how much City crumble. I think that I actually think we'll win the League Cup, because I think we're going to carry on what we've done before, and we'll get a bye in the semi-finals. Beat Stoke, then get a bye.
Play one, miss one. Play one, miss one.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get a bye against Stoke and then win the semi-final, and then get a bye in the final win. So that's what I'm thinking. But I think we're going to win the League Cup, and I think that's going to spur us on and just be like, well, we've won a trophy now, and I actually think we'll win the Europa League as well. So ballsy shout, but I think we're going to win 2 trophies in after however many years. I think we'll win the League Cup, and I would have said that actually, if we fell out of the Europa League, we might have had a real decent chance at going for the title this year because of how mad it's going to be. But because Mourinho loves the competition so much, I think that will hamper us in the league a bit. And we'll probably get to at least semi-final, final of the Europa League, do very well, potentially win it. And that will maybe hurt us a little bit in the league. But that would be my predictions. But my ambitions are to win everything.
Quadruple.
Exactly, but Pete, I will say, if you saying about winning the FA Cup, I would love that, because I know you said it doesn't bring as much necessarily as Europa League, but I absolutely dream of watching Spurs play in the Charity Shield. I absolutely love the Community Shield, and I was so devastated to see Arsenal win it. I know everyone says it doesn't matter, but to me it does. I actually love that game, that sort of pre-season friendly, which is just suddenly for a trophy for me. Oh, I would love it. So I mean, I would take yours all day. FA Cup win, finish third or fourth, and then go in the Charity Shield next season. I'll be so buzzed. But boys, I'm going to ask you one more question before we have to go. I'm going to go to Petey first. So Pete, are you or are you not entertained by our last week?
Well, I did say to you last week, ask me after the Man United game, and I am still entertained.
Definitely. And Ollie, are you entertained?
Certainly am, Jez. After slapping United 6-1 at Old Trafford, you can't be anything but entertained.
Thoroughly bloody entertaining. And again, I meant to say at the start of the video, but I forget because I'm a silly nilly. Like us, subscribe. Please be our mates. Share it. We're going to put out a load more content. We're also going to be doing tweets to get you guys some asking us some questions, and we'll try and answer them too. We'll get everyone more and more involved as much as we can. All 40 fans of ours. So we're hoping for it, and we hope to see you soon. Onwards and upwards, and up the Spurs. Come on, you entertaining boys.